Hey guys, this is Sean Waller, also known as Showing Your Realtor.
Yo!
Continue to educate yourself because this business is always evolving. Just continue to learn. With it. Talk to you guys later. All right. Welcome to another episode of Strictly Free Game Podcast. Sean Waller, aka Showing Your Realtor. Giving you number free game. And today I have my special guest, Mr. Kevin Spann, aka the insurance guru, aka I got bars for days because my guy's always dropping some bars. But I'll let him give you the backstory to all that. Kev, give him a little intro, brother.
Yes, sir. Sean, thanks for having me. I am Kevin Spann. Kevin Spann, the insurance guru. Kevin Spann, 11798, just happened to be in the building today. He dropped a free game. I'm going to try to pick some free game up. So just excited to be here, my brother Sean Waller, and seeing what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, sir. So, Kev, you are the insurance guru. So we see the Allstate sign in the back. So give him a little information on that.
Okay, so I've been with Allstate forever, owning and operating my own agencies in Queens for the past 14 years, since 2007, right in the heart of Queens, Middle Village. We are the masters of personal lines insurance. We help people with their wheels, their walls, and their wealth. Wheels, obviously, every motorized vehicle that they drive. Walls, whatever home they live in, whether that's a single family, multifamily, rent an apartment, co-op, condo, we help there. And then what I think we're going to spend some time talking about today, we help people with their wealth. So Kev, what do you mean by wealth? We help people with the two biggest risks they face, which is living too long or dying too soon. So whatever aspect of that you want to get into, we're here for it.
That's dope. And he's working in Queens. So I this one kind of hits home because I'm from South Side Jamaica, Queens. Queens get the money. You know what I'm saying? As we say, my brother.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man. So let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about this generational wealth gap that we're limited to, as far as, especially with our community, right? Like you said, you cover everything. You cover the cars, you cover the walls, but we got to talk about what a lot of people don't like to talk about, which is, us. One, we want to live long enough, right? That's usually the goal. But that's not always the reality. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So give me a little talk, man. Let's talk to us. Give us some knowledge when it comes to purchasing life insurance.
Okay. So purchasing life insurance is all about covering your bets and keeping those promises to people that we love. Most people, you work hard, you grind every day, you're earning what you earn. And if you're blessed with long life, you're going to bring that check home every week, every month, every year, and you're going to have a good salary and you're going to protect and provide for your family. However, the reality is, especially where we are today, being at the beginning of the end of COVID, we all lost a lot of people that we didn't expect to lose too soon. So with that being said, it's important to make the financial sacrifice to set a few dollars out of your check every month to make sure you're paying for life insurance, that you love your family enough not only to take care of business while you're here, but what if you're not here? Do you still want them to live in that house, or do you want them to go back to mom? Do you want them to still be well taken care of, or do you want to settle for the next best person that comes up next? I want to take care of business. I don't want my wife, my kids, my grands to settle for anybody, anything. I want to make the sacrifice, and I'm all about talking to people about making that sacrifice, of how to purchase life insurance, what should they spend, what are the options, everything about it. I love that conversation.
That's a fact. And what's crazy? What's crazy, Kev? I'm only 39 years old, right? So I'm still typically young. Growing up, where I'm from, we never even talked about life insurance. Like, it was never a household topic. You really didn't think about life insurance until that person passed away. Then you realize they didn't have enough insurance. And it kind of hit home, especially for me. My mother passed early. So my mother died when she was 47, right? And she didn't have much life insurance. Like, she had two policies. You know how people always have their own personal insurance, which we should always have, which
right.
Like, this is what Kevin's going to down to you. Or for some reason, I don't know if it's just our community, but I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I have insurance through my job," which, like, it drives me.
Yeah, and that's cool to have. If you're fortunate enough to have a job that offers life insurance, take it. keep that policy. It's usually affordable. It usually comes out of your check. So take that policy, but you also want to be in a conversation about another policy. You know, most people don't plan on working till the day they drop dead at their desk and then they're done. No, you plan on working, and one day you're going to retire from or leave that job. Maybe you're going to leave job, become an entrepreneur. I don't know. So you always need an individual policy that's not tied to that job. So job insurance, that's good, you know, but having another policy is extra. And definitely understand losing mom early. And the comments you made about our community, it's funny. Years ago, we were further ahead. When most of us lived in the boroughs, my mother grew up in Harlem, my father grew up in the South. There used to be somebody called a debit agent that would go door to door and would collect a nickel, a quarter, or $1 a week to make sure people kept their premiums. So fast forward to 2021, you would think with all the technology that you have, we'd be moving ahead and taking more advantage, doing bigger, better things. But no, we're not. That personal touch is going from the business, from our own industry. There's very few door-to-door debit agents that keep us in certain communities and certain housing situations, certain housing projects that's going door to door, making sure those policies are active. That's why grandma and great grandma was good, but sometimes in our current generation, we're not good. You know, we're not good because we're not in that conversation. You know, there's not a lot of lyrics being dropped about it. So we just aren't in that conversation, and there aren't enough people in my industry like me, Sean, is out there just talking to people about it. You know, just having a conversation, which is critical.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there are a few lyrics. I feel like the younger generation is kind of getting in tune to it a little bit. You know, like Nipsey Hussle said, $1 million on my flesh. That's what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? And,
no question. Nipsey did it. Jay did it. Come on, you're right.
Yeah. So they're starting to get there, but I still feel like they're not really. I mean, it's not their job either. They're not insurance brokers, so they can't really break it down. But they're at least giving the information out there, which is dope. And that's interesting that what you were saying about people going door to door, actually collecting a nickel or dime just to make sure everyone's premium's intact. I don't know why we're not still doing that. I don't even know if we'll trust people enough to really do it, but
that's another element. But we do have a lot of tools that we have right now. You know, you and I are doing this podcast. We're going to go out, I'm sure, to all social media. So you see a lot of people out there that's talking the talk there and, you know, posting something every day. Contact them. They would love to be in the conversation. I would love to be in the conversation with you to help you. And the beauty of today's technology, you can get that done over the phone, on a Zoom call, on a Meet, and you can wrap it up, and you and your family could be well covered. And, you know, 20 to 30 minutes having a real conversation about what you need, what it's going to cost, and how you're going to get it done.
Yeah, that's dope. Yo, you know what's crazy? So when I didn't have life insurance myself until I met my wife, right? Like I said, I'm a Queens boy. My wife is from Long Island. Met her. Her parents kind of gave her the tools a little early. When I first met her, she was like, "You're gonna have to get some type of life insurance, bro. If I'm gonna marry you, you need something." So I got my first policy. I was younger, and the premium was so low. Fast forward, the premium lapsed, and I didn't realize it. Like the money was coming out of my checking account. I wound up switching accounts. Didn't think twice about it. The policy lapsed. So when COVID hit, this is way before COVID. COVID hit, I reinstated my insurance policies. I had my daughter who's 3 years old. So, you know, I increased my policies, my premiums, all of that good stuff. And when COVID hit at 4:00 in the morning, I woke up in a sweat. Like, what the hell? You know, the news is going crazy. Everyone's dying. First thing I thought, like, yo, are my policies intact?
Yes.
And I'm like, yo, I'm getting old, man. Because that's literally the first thing I'm thinking about.
No, you're not getting old. You're getting wise. And shout out to your wife and her family for having those generational wealth conversations. Because when you say forever, just to tap into some bars, you know, they said forever. Yeah. You know, so have to have that life insurance to make sure you mean that, because we're just a physical man. When that part is done, we got to make sure it's good, and there's going to be something that takes our place financially. No one can replace you personally, but somebody can step in and pay the bills. And that's the life insurance policy. And shout out for you for doing the right thing when your daughter was born to bump it up and increase that policy. I could definitely relate to where you are being 39. I used to be 39 a long time ago. I first started.
Maybe only 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll be that. Yeah, I started buying life insurance policies early before I was selling life insurance policies because I had a family really young. I was married at 22. I was a father at 23, and life insurance right after that, and bumping it up every time my life changed. So you said a key trigger: getting married, having that conversation with your wife. That's one of those key triggers that make people think about life insurance. Buying a house is another one of those key triggers. Like, hey, we in this together for 400, 500,000. If you cut out on me, if I cut out on you, who got our back? Nobody. So the person that got their back is that policy.
Yeah, you can't create. My wife's not going to create a GoFundMe page. She's not.
No,
she's not.
no.
And a GoFundMe page is not a life insurance policy.
No, it's not a life insurance policy, and no knock on anybody that has to do it because they find themselves in that situation where they lose a loved one suddenly. And the second thing is you sit down with the funeral director and he goes through his checklist, and 15 to 20 minutes later, you find out the bill is going to be $12,000 to $13,000. Not having it is not having it. So a lot of people have wound up there. But here's the thing: GoFundMe, family and friends, extra room on a credit card will get you through next week through the funeral service. Mm-hmm. But there's no GoFundMe to pay the mortgage next month, to pay the car note, to pay for school, to pay for groceries. That's where life insurance comes in. It's not only for final expenses, it's to pay off debt, and it's also to replace your income. So you and your family, or whoever depends on your income, because somebody could be single, right? Mm-hmm. No wife, no husband, no children. But I have a lot of single friends that take care of people that depend on them. They take care of sister, brother, auntie, niece, nephew, and people depend on them. So it's very important that they have life insurance as well. Big mistake to think that single people that aren't married without children don't need life insurance. No, they're carrying the team. A lot of people are carrying the team, although they're single. So that's where the conversation comes in. It's short-sighted and presumptive to think just because you're single, nobody will miss you when you're going. Are you kidding? What community are you from? In our community, there's a lot of single people, and let's call it what it is, a lot of single women in particular that carry the rest of the family.
Yeah. And they usually, some of them carry the biggest load, man. They carry the biggest and the heaviest load of the families most of the time.
Absolutely. No question about that. No question about it. So again, my job as the insurance professional is to have that conversation, make sure they're set up the right way. And you need a certain amount of experience, certain amount of sensitivity to approach that conversation and know what they're trying to do and help them, go through selecting a proper policy, selecting a proper beneficiary, and letting them know how the policy works. What's going to happen when I'm no longer here? How's it going to go down?
Facts. So let's take it to the beginning, right? Sean, I'm walking in off the street, right? I'm going to meet Kevin Spann in Middle Village because I'm a Queens guy. I'm going to Middle Village to meet him, right? I'm not even having a conversation over the phone. I want to meet him face to face. So I'm walking into your office. I'm like, yo, Kev, listen, I'm looking to get life insurance. How do I start? What's the first step?
The first step is we start doing a fact finding. I ask questions about you. I ask questions about your situation, your family situation, your permanent situation. Why do you want life insurance? I'm going to ask you questions about your health. Do you smoke? Don't you smoke? What do you smoke? I'm going to ask you about your health. No medication for anything. These are all fact finders to make sure that I can build the right policy for you. And there's no bad answers to any of those questions. So I said I've been with Allstate forever. What most people don't know about me is that I got into the business as a life underwriter. So as a life underwriter, I've seen the other side of the application. So before I was selling it, all the life applications was coming to me, and I was the one behind the desk making the decision that this person qualifies for life insurance, their health doesn't qualify them, or they qualify, but we're going to have to charge them a different premium. So I'm very comfortable in that conversation, Sean, because a lot of people, they come into the office and they're going through something medically. Things come up, right? People have some medical things. People have some lifestyle things. Like, Kev, the only thing is I'm 30 pounds overweight. How's that going to affect me? Kev, I smoke once in a while. Kev, weed is legal. Is that going to affect my life insurance? Those are all conversations that I have with people, and I can walk them down the path. I had cancer 10 years ago. How is that going to affect me? I have the background and experience to walk you through that conversation and to give you an accurate rate for what your life insurance is really going to cost, not the rate that you get when you Google online and you see 39 years old, 500,000, $5 a month. Yeah, that's one rate, and that's possible for the preferred, ultra preferred elite class. But if you're going through some things, it's going to be a little bit different. So I like to have that conversation with you, Sean, when you walk in the office to get you exactly where you want to be. And then I always include budget. I always say, based on what's going on in your life right now, how much can you comfortably set aside to spend on life insurance per month? And I want the number that you're going to stick to even when life shows up, because life shows up for everybody and it messes you up. You planned on doing it. I'm spending 50. You change checking accounts. Okay. So life shows up and throws you off a little bit, but you have to have that number that you're going to keep. Not the biggest policy I can sell. It's the policy that you are going to keep. And that's what it's all about, because doing this as long as I have, I've been on the other side where I put a lot of checks in the hands of widows, widowers, children. When everybody else is bringing water and chicken and cake to the house, I'm the only one that brings a check.
You're the only one that brings a check through. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the fair, how can I say this? What I've noticed when I have conversations with people about it, I'm like, listen, get it. Your policy doesn't. I think people get blinded by the numbers. They hear like, listen, get a $200,000 policy. That doesn't mean that you're spending $1,000 a month for that policy.
Not,
so like you
not
said, it's
at
all
all.
about budget, right?
It's all about budget. It is way cheaper than what you think. Insurance is all about pennies on a dollar. A young person, let's stick to your story, not my story. Person 39, 40 years old, depending on their health, they can get $1 million policy for $50 a month, depending on the type of policy. So it's not a lot of money. It's just a matter of what is your unique situation, what kind of insurance is best for you, how's your health, how's your habits, and where do you fit in? And that's it. So a lot of people, again, we're in the digital age. So everybody is going to, and they should Google some things first. I Google everything before I do anything that I don't know. Google it, get a ballpark idea. If I was
Google
buying
could be your biggest. Don't Google too much. You'll drive yourself.
No. Just get a little information and come to a professional. I wouldn't buy a house without talking to a professional. I'm not going to buy insurance without talking to a professional. Just get a little bit so you know something, but then have the conversation so you can find out what's good for you, not for your neighbor, not for your cousin, but for you.
Yeah. So can you break down the different? There's whole life and there's term, right?
That's it. That's the two kinds of life insurance. Depending on which company, you'll hear a lot of other fancy names. Universal life insurance, variable universal life insurance, different term policies with different levels. At the end of the day, it's term life insurance, which is a specific amount of life insurance for a specific amount of time. For example, a $500,000 term life policy for 30 years to cover the mortgage. Okay. And then let's say there's a permanent life insurance policy is one that will last your whole life, hence the term whole life insurance. Whole life insurance policies come with different benefits and features, such as cash value accumulation, the ability to borrow against the policy. So whole life policies have something that's called a lot of living benefits. Sean, a lot of people don't want to pay for something that they're not personally going to benefit from. Sadly, I've heard it said, I'm not going to pay for him to have a policy or her to have a policy and do better when I'm gone.
Well, I just had this conversation with a close friend of mine. I'm not going to say any names because I know she's probably going to listen.
Okay.
I just had a conversation with her, and she said, I honestly don't remember how the conversation started, but it was like, I'm not going to get this huge policy so my kids could ball out when I'm dead.
Yeah,
kind of like I'm not trying to make my kids rich off of my death. But I said, you kind of, I understand what you're saying, but you should want your kids to be better off when you're not here. That's the purpose.
The idea is that every generation does better than the generation before. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned earlier your mom died early. The idea is for every generation to do better. And life insurance is the key to generational wealth. That's how wealth gets transferred from generation to generation. It's not by saving $1 at a time.
Yeah, and it's tax-free.
Yes.
It's tax-free money, so why wouldn't you?
And the concerns that she has about what the children would do for it, right? We all know young people that have come into a lot of money and they've blown it. The beauty of life insurance is that when you're ready for full level planning, you can put those things into your will, into a trust, and you can dictate the terms of when will the children get the policy, how they can use it before then, whether it's college graduation, wedding, purchase of the first home, business, all those concerns you can address by setting up, certain documents and certain things on the legal side. Outside of what I do, but I have wonderful people I work with that I can refer people to take care of those things.
Yeah, dope. I told you Kev was coming with bars. Kev is going to come with bars today. When is it too early to get, because no one ever wants to think about this. Is it ever too early to get life insurance on your children?
Never. So most companies will insure a child after they are 15 days old. 15 days old, that gets you through all the early things that happen. Sometimes, unfortunately, when a child is born, there are issues. So from 15 days forward, you can have that child insured. Why would I do that, Kevin? I don't want to think about my child not being here. Well, that time is a great time to get a cash value life insurance policy and to build that up and save for the child's education. In that case, very specifically, you're not thinking about the death of your child, but you're thinking about the living benefits of the policy so you can pay into it, let the policy grow nicely, and you can give it to them as a wedding gift, college graduation gift, pay for college, whatever you might want that living benefit to do. So it's never too early. And plus, you lock in their insurability as early as possible before there are any health issues.
So you could gift it. So you could cash that policy out?
Absolutely. You can cash it out. You can borrow against it. You can withdraw from it. There's a lot of options to exercise the cash value components of the policy. It's not just cashing out and canceling. It's using it. It's withdrawing. It's reducing the face amount. It's a lot more to it than what meets the eye. As long as, again, that you sit with a professional that sets it up the right way. I always tell people when I offer a permanent life insurance policy, that is not an ATM. Cash value accumulation takes time. I always tell people, do not look at it, do not consider withdrawing from it for 10 years. If you're thinking about it, you have some other short-term purpose for your money, then this is not the right policy to get right now. Do something else with the money. Don't plan on, next week and coming to swipe the ATM card. That's not what it is.
Yeah. And that's the gem right there. That's the gem right there. I honestly didn't know that. I mean, I knew there were certain policies that you could kind of withdraw money from, but I didn't know you could kind of like gift it like for a wedding. And what penalties do you have if you're trying to withdraw that money? Is there like a certain penalty that you would get?
It all depends on how you take it and what you take it for. So all those things are written in the body of the policy, but I wouldn't think of penalties. I would think in terms of changes. Okay. So let's say you have $100,000 policy. You build it up, you don't touch it for 20 years, and you want to use that. It has $20,000 in cash value at the end of 20 years. Your child goes to college on a scholarship, and you don't use any of that money. You can take that $20,000, you can withdraw it, partial withdrawal, you can reduce the face amount, and they can keep that 20 and still have life insurance in place. So there's a number of ways to do it. Every way from Sunday, I've helped my clients with all of it. I've helped my clients pay for roofs, pay for weddings, and give gifts, incredible wedding gifts from the cash value that they've accumulated in their life insurance policies.
Wow. That's amazing, man. I didn't know that. So this is a no-brainer, man. Like having life insurance is truly a no-brainer. First of all, you said you can have an amazing policy. It depends on your situation, but you can have an amazing policy for $50 a month. You pay more than that for a pair of sneakers. If you're a sneakerhead, this is not even a pair of sneakers a month. You know what I mean?
Please.
This is not even going out to party every weekend if you wanted to. This is your brunch bill is higher than that. So not having the insurance in place makes no sense. It's a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
That's dope.
No-brainer. No, it's really nothing to think about. It's nothing to think about at all. And it gives you peace of mind. So I was talking about how early I started buying life insurance. So when I was a young man and a young father, at that time, I still used to like to play a lot of ball. And growing up in Queens, you've played ball, you've been in games, and you've seen games go left real quick. Yes, and things that work out real well. I always had peace of mind that, God forbid, and I'm not an argumentative guy, I'll always give a piece of chance. But God forbid if that goes wrong, My family has always been good. I've flown for business, and I've always think about whenever I fly, are my affairs in order? It's very peaceful to know that your affairs are in order. It makes the flight better. It makes the worst flight very, very peaceful because you don't think about, what's going to happen if the wrong thing happens.
Yeah, I sleep well at night, man, knowing that if anything happens to me, my girls are good.
Absolutely.
So more advice for Sean, right? I'm taking it from the OG. So I have another little one coming, right? We have another baby in August.
Congratulations.
And I want to increase my policy, right? What advice would you give to Sean as far as what should be the next step in my policy? Like what extra steps should I be taking now?
Okay. So the first thing is a conversation and to do some projections. Let's talk about what's Sean's situation now. So you have some insurance already. You have coverage for your final expenses, but your life is changing, Sean. You are showing your realtor. You are that guy, and your income is changing. Everything is your life is getting better all the time, and now you're being blessed by adding another new addition to the family. So now you want to be in a conversation about income replacement, future goals, and paying off debt. What are those numbers? You have two girls already. I don't know what the next one will be. I'm sure this is
going to be the second girl. So this
second girl.
One girl now. This is going to be the second girl.
Okay. So the second girl, I'm sure the plan is to raise financially independent women that don't need to depend on anybody. And you want to be in a conversation to make sure, okay, so you have way more than 10,000 life insurance already. You're not worried about final expenses. Income replacement. You're a young man. You're getting money at 39. You're going to continue to get money for at least 20 years. So what you're getting now times 20. That's the number of life insurance you think about for income replacement. Hypothetically, let's say $50,000 a year times 20. We definitely want to be in that $1 million life insurance policy conversation. And then the third thing is future goals. What's the long game for the girls? The girls, you want them to go to school, probably to finish college. Different
college. This is college plan, so they don't need no man. That's
not probably. Exactly. College plan, so they don't need no man. Exactly. So those are conversations I'm in with people, future goals. So you want to lock that in for a long period. So what is that amount of life insurance? So Sean, the worst answer I can give to you is this. If I was thirsty or a new life insurance salesperson, my answer would have went something like, Sean, come see me. I'll change that policy that you have and I'll give you something cheaper. If somebody says that to you, run away. The worst thing you can do is cancel an old life insurance policy because whenever you got it, you were younger and it was less expensive than what it would be to start a new policy today. So when I talk to people like you, Sean, that have life insurance already, I congratulate them. I applaud them. I want to keep that piece in place and see if we can add to it. Hypothetically, let's say that you have permanent insurance already. So you have some things locked away for your future. Now let's maybe supplement it with a large term insurance policy at a very low monthly premium that will take care of those additional things that maybe the first policies don't cover yet. So again, we're never discussing cancellation. New York State has a lot of rules around replacing life insurance policies. So for any of you bad actors in this life insurance business, be careful what you do. Go very slow before you treat life insurance like car insurance, where you're just looking to be cheaper. That's not the idea. The idea is always the long game. Take good care of people, and whatever is meant for you will come to you. Give people good advice. If they have someone that got your policy reinstated, kept you going, work with that person. There's plenty of food for everybody to eat.
Facts. That's why I wanted to come to the OG, man. I was like, I have to go to somebody that has experience. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a certain nourishment, like this. I want to come to the OG, man. That's how I look at it. Young dudes, no knock on the new guys coming up, but they haven't lived the life yet. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of them haven't experienced that yet, so they can't really give me the advice that I'm looking for.
No problem. But I welcome all new young people into this industry. It's a great industry. It's a great place for young people to start. And we need more people. This can never just be about me. We need an unlimited number of people in the insurance industry as a whole, more specifically in the life insurance industry, and more specifically in certain communities that are underrepresented that people can't have that personal life insurance conversation, and they can't have that conversation in their language. So, this growing up in Queens. I'm in Queens. Queens is the most diverse county in the country. There's over 100 ethnicities, 100 languages spoken there. And my office, my staff, it looks like Queens. We have a lot of people that speak a lot of languages that can have conversation with you. Very comfortable, especially when it gets into an involved topic like life insurance, to make sure you understand exactly what you're setting aside this money for, and you could buy it and you can have peace of mind.
Dope. So what are you doing to actually get more to well, I know what you're doing. I want you to explain to the people what you're doing as far as like getting yourself out there so they can know to, come to Kevin Spann, man. I got your back. I'm not Jake from Allstate. I think I saw from State Farm. I think I said that the other day.
Jake got back at me on Twitter. Jake got back at me. Jake hit me back and said he's a real dude. So much love and respect to Jake from State Farm. I love what he's doing. I love what they're doing. So that's a great question. What am I doing to put myself out there? Education, awareness, non-stop. That's my thing. I'm trying to keep up with, the young guns in this digital world. I'm trying to post every day, several times a day, to keep people as informed as I can. In the old world, when it was safe to be in front of people, I always say yes to opportunity to speak in front of any audience, whether that's a church or a group or some organization, to just inform people about it. I feel like that's my job, my responsibility, to make people aware, educate them on these options. Being on this podcast with you, education and awareness is first. It's very, very important to me, very important to how I live, very important to how I conduct my business. And I always know that I may speak in front of a church, Sean, and no one in that church in particular may buy a policy from me, but they might pick up a policy from someone else. That's great. They got covered. I'm good with that. They may remember my name and mention me to someone else. Yeah. I'm good with that. I just have to do my job, put the information out there, tell people the truth, and then let the results fall where they may.
That's why you're giving the free game, bro. That's why I call it strictly free game, because you're one of the guys that's giving just like straight up free game out there. And that's dope. You're performing higher than some of the young guys when it comes to social media. I honestly haven't seen anyone in your space yet. Let's put it like that. You know what I'm saying? And,
that's what I want to be.
Yeah, I call my guy. So I've been reaching out to our guy, Lou Soriano. Shout out to my guy,
Lou Soriano, Mr. CFP, the man
himself. I call him Podcast Lou, because Lou is everywhere.
Yes.
Give us a little information. Speaking of podcasts, give us a little information about your podcast.
Okay. So my personal podcast is Wind Down with Kev. It was something I came up with during the pandemic. I found myself at home with nothing on my calendar, no speaking engagements, no customers in the office, just zero to do. And what I do is I talk to people for a living. So I created the Wind Down with Kev podcast. We've done 2 seasons. We've had some amazing guests. Now we're getting ready for season 3, which I'll probably start filming in August. My second podcast I'm fortunate to be a part of is the Real Estate Trifecta. That's again with our guy, our mutual friend, Lou Soriano, Mr. CFP, and my guy, Carlos with signature. Carlos, Mr.
Carlos.
Don't need 20% down, Carlos Salinas. So I do that podcast with him. And coming back to you, you talked about free game. I have just built a YouTube channel where I don't know if I have 100 yet, but I have close to 100 reels on there. Was just jewels, 30-second reels, dropping knowledge about life insurance and different topics, everything I can think of, because I know that wherever people are, they're facing their phone, they're facing their tablet, they're facing their pad. When they go there, when they look up on YouTube, which is the number 2 search engine besides Google, after Google, I want them to find the information that they need. I want them to get to know me, like me, and then hopefully do business with me. So, I'm all about trying to be an FOD, first, only, and different. That's the goal. Be first, be the only one doing it, and do it different.
Well, now listen, man, I appreciate that you're doing that, because what's the saying? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's the only thing they want to learn. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
Sometimes the old dogs are holding themselves back because your guys have so much knowledge that you could be given to everyone. And if you're not, if we can't see you, like you said, everyone's in their phone now. You know what I'm saying? That's the easiest way to get in touch with everyone. And you're killing it, bro. You're killing it.
We're trying every day. We're trying to make somebody more aware of this every single day. So somebody somewhere takes action. So let me share something else with you. We're talking. It's Juneteenth today as we're doing this. New national, new federal holiday, and people are celebrating it. So just to speak a little bit directly to the community, there was times in the beginning of this industry where people that looked like you and I, Sean, could not buy life insurance. There were times before slavery ended where you couldn't predict the life expectancy of someone that was enslaved. I don't say that they were a slave, they were enslaved. That's just the work that we had to do at that time. So fast forward to, let's call it June 19th, 1865. Now that we get free, some way more brilliant people than me started creating life insurance companies so that we could buy life insurance, so that we could have it. So many, many years later, now that we can have it, now that we're not being denied it, we should get it, because there are some people that would like to have life insurance, they can't get it. So 3 things I like to tell people. You can't buy car insurance after the car's in an accident. You can't buy house insurance after the fire, during the fire. And you can't buy life insurance after you're having that near-death experience and you come to the realization, okay, I just today got diagnosed with something devastating. Now I realize I need life insurance. Mm-hmm. No, at that point it's too late. So if you're, health-wise eligible financially, you can set a few dollars aside to buy life insurance. The time for that conversation is today.
Yeah. Listen, and if you're comfortable with having insurance on your cell phone and you're not comfortable with having insurance on your flesh, we need to reevaluate what's going on. We need a conversation.
Absolutely. No question. That's a different topic altogether. Definitely.
Yeah, altogether. I have so like I told you, my mother passed away when I was young, and this is probably totally off topic, but I'm going to ask you anyway because you're an insurance guy. This is what you do. I told my wife, if something happens to me, don't have this big funeral. Like I don't want the lavish. I don't want the money coming out my life insurance for that. Like if let's set aside, like I think you mentioned this earlier. You can actually set aside exactly what you want to go to that final party, whatever you want to have. Don't have a crazy party because it's really not worth it. It's going to the ground. It's not worth it at all. And I learned that.
You don't want the limo going up and down Jamaica Avenue through the whole neighborhood. Nah. You don't want that,
bro. And we didn't know that when my mother passed away. My brother and I were young, so we had the insurance and we divvied it up between the both of us, and we paid all of this money because you go to these funeral homes. They, in my opinion, they're predators. I don't care what anyone says because they know you're vulnerable, and they upcharge the hell out of you for nothing, just to put it in the ground. You put the 6 feet,
right?
You know what I mean? So I don't even know where I was going with that, Cat. I totally went.
That's okay. I know where you were going. You were talking about how you should plan. So unfortunately, we've all been to a lot of services, virtual, in person, lately, and sometimes they're pretty elaborate. You and your wife, as my wife and I did, you should have this conversation every year. Like, what's the plan? How do we do this? And end of life planning is very, very important. What's important now? Because what's important today is going to be different 3 years from now. So you should always talk about how are we going to do it. This is a certainty. This is not hypothetical. You may never have a car accident. You may never have a home insurance claim. Death is a certainty. At some point, all of us is going to need a life insurance policy, and we should know in advance how it's going to be used. So you should know exactly, these are current bills. These are my credit card, yours, all together. This is the mortgage. Do we pay the whole mortgage off, or do we do something different with the money and put it away someplace so we can just pay our monthly bills the way we have been until we know what we're going to do next? My thing is, again, having a lot of experience sitting with a lot of widows in tears, letting them know, don't do anything fast. Take care of this month's bills. And then we get through June, let's pay July's bills, then August, and let's see where you are emotionally before you make any fast decisions. You don't have to take a $500,000 check and pay off a $300,000 mortgage. You can just pay the $5,000 worth of bills that's due this month, and think about it. Are you staying in the house? Are you comfortable here? Or were you in a conversation about relocating to North or South Carolina? Do you want to visit that conversation? Take your time. No fast decisions, and know in advance what you would like to do. I've also had the experience, unfortunately, of sitting with a lot of people that just haven't had the conversation and they're not sure. They're not sure. So it takes time to figure it out. And that's the beauty of what I do. I just love helping people. I love helping them figure it out. I love treating everybody as if they're a member of my family. And I want to do the right thing by them, because if it's your grandmother, it's my grandmother. If it's your mom or dad, it's my mom or dad. If it's your brother, it's my brother or sister. So I'm going to do the right thing for them that I would want done for them. And you have to be able to read the audience, see where the person is at. You got to know the other family members, the influencers that are making some other decisions, and help safeguard them a little bit, because it gets difficult, and people's eyes open wide when they think a few dollars might be on the table. So thank God you and your brother
bring the ugly out, man. Death brings the vultures, bro.
Yes, yes.
They want everything.
Yes.
They want the clothes in the closet.
Yes,
With the half bottle of cologne that was used. They
want not gonna be needing those Jordans anymore. I guess y'all not gonna be wearing the Jordans anymore. So yeah, yeah.
No, that's a fact, man. I posted something a while ago, and I said it was just a random topic that popped into my head. I said we need to all start having wellness checks with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should definitely have those with our family members, especially grandma. Like, if we have family members that's on a fixed income, things get tough, make sure those policies are in place for them. Just give them a call, see what's going on.
So that means you raised something important question. One of the services I provide is I give my clients a book which helps you set up all of that plan. You know, we all have that elderly person in our family where just by default, it's going to come on you. So one of those times during one of those visits, and since we can visit people again, ask them what do they want. Ask them what's the church home. Ask them the preferred funeral home. Ask them what they have or don't have, and what's the alternative. Sean, I've helped way too many people put lives together after the fact, when it should be an upfront conversation. So you don't want to. You're not pushing anybody out the door, but they're thinking about it. They're worried about it. And if you're that trusted advisor, not in the license sense, but in the love sense, you're the one that auntie and grandma has seen that they know is going to do the right thing. Tell them, ask them, what do they want you to do? They'll tell you.
But it should be in writing as well. Even if they're having a conversation.
You start with a conversation without putting a pencil and paper in front of them. You know, sometimes in our community, when you come in touch, when you show up buttoned up and you got it, you know, it looks like you look like a salesperson instead of like a family member. Mm-hmm. So you want to do it from love, and they'll walk you through it. I've had a chance to observe so much proper planning from so many families. I've tried to learn and share as much as I can. And unfortunately, I've seen an equal amount of people unprepared. So I try to share all that as well. And it's like playing cards. There's tells all the time. There's people give certain hints. You know, on your play spade, you look at the cards, the way they hold their hand, where the tips down a little bit. You just see certain tells, and you have to have that experience, you know, and to talk people through it.
Yeah. It was two things you can't escape, and it was taxes and death.
That's two. That's the two.
So I have the conversation about both.
That's the two.
Nah, man, Kev, I appreciate you, man. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions. Give us a little. So just take it off. Let's take it off life insurance for a minute. Give me a little extra about Kev. What does Kev like to do in his downtime when he's not helping the community build generational wealth, and, you know, helping grandma at the coffee table, plan for the, you know, the future, I want to say.
Yeah, no, just two things. I'm a family man, so I've been blessed to be married to the same woman for the last 35 plus years. I'm the father of three sons, three wonderful sons, and I'm the grandfather of two wonderful grandchildren. So shout out to my wife Denise, my sons Kevin, Dominique, and Trey, and my grandkids JD and Mason. So when I'm not working, I'm definitely spending time with my family. I'm usually watching a basketball game on TV or in person. That's my love. And when I'm out and about and I want to do stuff in the community, I'm born and raised in Wyandanch. I live in West Bath now, but I'm born and raised in Wyandanch, and my heart is always there. So if there's something positive going on that involves kids, I'm usually going to be a part of it. On the work side, my office is in Middle Village. The Middle Village community has been incredible to me the whole time I've been there. So in the Middle Village community, I'm also involved with the youth, and I'm also involved in fights against cancer because one of the reasons I go so hard, I want to get as much as I can to give back as much as I can. And those two things are intimately tied together. If I'm not getting it, I can't give it. If I'm getting it, I can give it. So I'm always doing that. And beyond that, the only other habit I have is I'm an avid reader. You know, my days begin with prayer first, exercise sometimes, and reading as often as I can. Whatever I knew yesterday is not going to be enough to get me through today. So I got to pick up some new information to navigate through today because the world is changing fast. And I want to be here. I want to be here and I want to be relevant. I want to be informed as to how to do what I need to do to function in this environment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, man, I'm taking the cues from the OGs, man. I got to start reading a little more in the morning. Exercise, I'm trying to get there, Kev. I'm trying to get
it's not easy.
A little more work in.
That's why I said exercise sometimes. Sometimes it's a walk, sometimes it's yoga, and sometimes I talk myself out of it. So, which is not a good thing, but it's true. But the reading is critical. Somebody told me a long time ago, you know, all the secrets in the world are hidden inside a book. So if you just crack that book or listen to Audible, you know, my drive is an hour and a half each way every day.
Yeah,
so
I do a lot of Audibles now.
Audible. Yeah. I just listen to those books. So it's like spending time with people that you're interested in and they're sharing their life story with you. So it don't get no better than that.
Nice. And speaking of ball, so I saw you at the Nets game the other day. So you're a Nets fan or you're a Knicks fan, or you just riding with New York in general?
Danny Green is my son's best friend. So I root for whatever team Danny Green is on. So right now it's the Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay.
Last year we got the chip with the Lakers. Year before that we got the chip with Toronto. A few years before that we got the chip with San Antonio. So that's who I root for.
Danny Green
I'm born a Knicks
fan. He's a product of Deer Park, right? Or is it North
Babb? North Babb, right around the corner. North Babb kid. So I'm a lifelong Knicks fan forever. They won the chips during my lifetime, during my childhood, and I'll never give up on them, but I love the game more than I love bad basketball. The Knicks, until this year, they were bad. And working with the Nets, that was both business and basketball. In the near future, you may hear about me and my agency doing some business and community things with the Nets. So that's something that I'm working on. But yeah, but when New York wins, Giants, Jets, Mets, Yankees, Islanders, Rangers, New York feels better when New York wins.
Yes,
but
sir.
Just to keep it 100, no political answers. Who do I root for in New York?
Yeah.
Knicks.
The world is better when New York wins.
Jets, Islanders. That's who I roll with. That's what my heart wants to win. Unfortunately, leadership doesn't always bring in a winning team. So you're left feeling bad a lot.
I haven't watched it. I've never really been into hockey, but I see the Islanders actually doing really well, right?
Yeah, I've never been into hockey either. I will watch the Stanley Cup when the lights are on. Mm-hmm. Right now, I think the Islanders in the conference finals, so I'm paying attention. They're down 1-2, but I'm rooting for them because if they win, the city feels better. If you've ever ridden on the train at the same time as an Islanders game or Rangers or Mets or Yankees,
it's crazy.
And you see that sea of colors, yeah, it feels good. It feels good. The city feels better when the teams are winning, no question.
Yeah, well, at least you were blessed enough to have the Knicks actually win in your lifetime. You know, I don't know if it's going to happen in my lifetime, but you know,
I don't know. I like the new leadership at the Knicks. I like what they did last year. They're 2 to 3 pieces away from being championships. So I'm hoping for them. And when they're there, I go to the Garden. I'll be there. I've been on the court. I'll be there again.
All right, listen, man, we got to hit a game up or something together one of these days, bro.
No question. Consider that done. We can talk that talk real soon.
All right, bet, man. I appreciate you thinking for coming through for the podcast. I don't think I have any more questions, man. Listen, tell them how to get in touch with you, Kev.
Hit me anywhere on social media. Kevin Spann, the insurance guru. Abraham Kevin Spann is my formal name. Just Google me, look me up, reach out to me. I'm very, very responsive. However you get to me, I will get back to you. There's no question too big or too small. I'm all about helping you. Don't feel any pressure that if I call Kev, I have to buy something. No, I'm blessed to be a blessing to others. So if you just have questions, you need help, I'm here to help you. So reach out to me. on whatever platform you're on. I'll get back to you and we'll talk. Love meeting new people every day, and I hope to meet some of you. Take care. Sean, thank you for having me, brother. I really,
brother, I
really
appreciate
appreciate
you,
it.
man.
This was awesome. This was fun, man. I had a blast.
Yes, sir. Same here, man. Same here. We got to catch up though. We got to catch up in person.
No question.